This is Viking Fun back for another video. Today is a spooky story. Yeah, I know. I'm very late and there's only a few days left of October, but I'm gonna at least try and get a couple done before the month's over, and I can always do a bunch throughout the year. It really doesn't matter when you do spooky stories. So now it's time to get into the video. When I was younger, my parents had split up and were staying with my father and his new partner. He lived in a small mountain town in the Canadian Rocky Mountains. My father lived in a mobile home park near the river, and it was chilly. It was a chilly place to be. I was a bit older, and I was going to be babysitting my two brothers. My bio bro was 4 years younger than me, and my step bro was a baby. Yeah. My parents had dinner with us, and they were getting ready to go shoot some pool and come back in 3 hours. I was stoked as I was getting paid to babysit and felt like the boss. Meanwhile, we were just sitting there watching movies as my baby brother slept. My parents left, and our evening of weird began. My bio bro and I were chilling, watching a movie, and getting along for once. As we are sitting there watching the movie, I hear the radio go off in my baby brother's room. I go to his door, open the door to see what's going on. As I open the door, the radio shuts off, and there is my brother. The radio was in the toy box, put away, and my brother is sleeping like a baby because he is a baby. I thought, hey, if this goes off again, bro will wake up and I am going to be stuck trying to get bro back to bed. So I take the batteries out and put the radio away. I look at the baby bro and think, just stay sleeping. I leave the room and close the door. I go to watch the movie again with Bio Bro. We are talking about what happened, and the radio starts going off, starts playing again. Now I am freaking out because that thing better not wake baby up. I go to the room, open the door slowly, try and see something. As I open the door, the radio shuts off. It's sitting in the middle of the room, doubting. I put it away. I dismiss its location in the room. Face it, I am a pretend boy and never put stuff away. But I knew I took the batteries out because they were sitting on the change table. Yes, an adult. I know how dangerous that can be, but is a different story anyways. Baby bro is still sleeping. I take the radio out of the room, and I am kind of freaked out. I close the door thinking, the heavens, baby did not wake up. Bio bro and I sit there, try to figure out to turn this thing on without batteries. We cannot make a sound. We are both kind of freaking out a bit. This was before everyone had a cell phone, so it was not like I could call my parents and be like, what the heck is going on? Come home now. The house is possessed. Bio bro and me fall asleep watching a movie. I wake up and the static from the TV was driving me nuts. I had a cot on the floor and Bio bro was sleeping on the sofa. I turned the TV off and went back to bed. Unfortunately, I could not get to sleep as I kept hearing something walking up and down the hallway. Terrified, I lay there praying for my parents to get home. I fell asleep, did not hear my parents come home. I woke up in the morning and neither my bro or I ever mentioned what happened, out of fear of being stalked by demons or something. We never really spoke of it again. 6 years go by and I am sort of an adult now and have adult conversations with my family. My brothers, father, and I are sitting around talking about a different spooky story, and we start to chat that trailer, like seeing figures down the hall, stomping up and down the halls and stuff, moving occasionally. Father says he pleaded for it to stop, and it did one day. Father said he did not want to scare us from ever coming there again, and never told us. Later, he found out the trailer park used to be on a burial ground that they had moved to build the trailer park. It was nuts. And not only time my father moved into an old spooky, not the only time my father moved into an old spooky place. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this story definitely was quite to digest. This story is from somebody I know. And only the people who have subscribed, like my earlier subscribers, will know who it is. Because I feel like I probably should not say his name unless he wants me to say his name. But for this story, I'm just going to keep it anonymous. All you know, he's human. He's a guy, Canadian like me, and has went through a lot of trauma. This story was definitely intense and terrifying. And creepy. If this ever happened to me, I definitely would be talking about it immediately. Yeah. Reading these paragraphs weren't so easy. I had to refilm it a couple times. I messed up. You know, it happens to everyone. It's definitely quite stressful, and I definitely get tired of talking. Yeah, I definitely talking too much. It's quite exhausting, but the story was good. Spooky. Now I just gotta figure out what I'm gonna use for the thumbnail. I don't know what I'm gonna use. That's my one concern. I'm gonna have to find like a spooky looking house or something. So till then, I might I'll come up with something. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below if you want me to do more stories like this. I got 2 more from an anonymous source. If he ever, sends them to me so I can actually tell them. But I'm trying to pry it out of him. It's not easy, but I hope you do enjoy this video. And please subscribe. I'm pretty close to 100 subscribers, just 8 away. I'll be a step closer to my dream of one day being a successful YouTuber. And I'm going to stay optimistic that day's going to happen eventually. It's probably going to happen when I'm in my late 20s or 30s, but it's fine. Alright guys, have a good night or day, and happy Halloween. Viking Fun, out. This is Viking Fun back for another story time. This is the second spooky story, so hopefully you enjoy. Time to get into the video. Family moved into an old house. The owner passed away, and the old family living there did not need a house this big, so they rented it out, and my father's stepmother and 2 brothers moved in. I was living on my own, and my father had asked me to help him move into the home. We moved all his stuff into the home, and we were having a few adult beverages, looking through the old stuff in the attic. There were family albums, antiques, and all sorts of stuff. This was neat to look at. We saw pictures of the home with hemp fields, and they looked to be 100 years old. Black and white aerial photos from the days past. We estimated that this was during the First Great War, as the hemp was being grown for the war. and we assumed that what was happening at this home. If you are listening to hear more about the hemp or pod that it is for this story, I had a few beverages and was staying the evening. I was sleeping in the guest room and was woken up to hear walking up and down the hallways. Not thinking much about it, I went back to sleep. Yeah. Next morning I woke up and was having some family time breakfast. I asked about the midnight walking, and no one in the family said they were up at all in the evening. Thinking maybe my bro was sleepwalking or something, I dismissed the thought of a spirit. Pats and I was back visiting for the evening. We just cleaned up from dinner, and we were watching Survivor as the family. As we are sitting there, the pull cord for the pantry light clicked on and off several times. I was spooked and went to look at it. The family dog followed me and beat me to the pantry. The dog got freaked out and started to bark at the pantry. The dog's hair was standing on end, and he was stressed. The dog was standing there between me and the pantry and was not letting me pass. I pushed my way through the dog and looked in the pantry to see nothing. The cat came up to see what the commotion was about, and the cat spooked hissed hair standing on the rain off. That was definitely weird. I shut off the light and turned to walk away. As I walked away, the light cord was pulled and the light came back on. At this time, I thought about the other night when I heard walking up and down the hall. I went back to the sofa and was visibly distressed over what I just experienced. My dad asked me if I was okay. I told him no, and he asked if I wanted to talk about it, and I asked to talk about it, the kitchen. I told him, what the heck? I had just seen my dad thanks me for taking him aside to talk, as he was concerned that what I said might frighten my little bros. My dad tells me that some spooky stuff has been going on. Dad tells me that he has heard the walking up and down the hallway frequently, or multiple times. I'm not really good with that word. Items and pictures in the house are being moved around, and that he was pushed while walking, but no one was there. Dad tells me I older now, that he is able to talk to me more about adult things, and he asked me to keep this on the down low as not to scare my little brothers. Fair enough. A couple weeks go by, and again I am visiting my dad and family. We are sitting there watching TV as a family, and my dad hears something in the kitchen. He walks away to investigate and finds the tap on, and I followed him to see what was happening. Dad shut the water off and mutters something under his breath. He turns around to see me watching him. Dad tells me the spooky stuff is still happening and a lot. Not really good with that word. Dad says he thinks there is a trapped spirit here and tells me more of his experience. Dad. tells me that he was walking up the stairs to have a shower after work. As he's walking up the stairs, something pulled his jogging pants down and he fell up the stairs. The tap comes on at weird times, almost daily, and that his method of talking to the spirit is not working like the last house he lived in. The spooky stuff never stopped. My family lived there for a few years before moving, and the spooky stuff never stopped, but only got more frequent. I can't say the word. That's the end of the story. And the second story. The third story I'll be doing soon. I promise. It's definitely an interesting read. Definitely gotta come up with a house thumbnail, but that shouldn't be as hard as the last one. I feel like having like a spirit or a ghost like living in a trailer park house is pretty intense. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this story. Please subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I know I'm definitely not the best at reading, but I'm gonna get better at these stories. I promise. Alright guys, hopefully you have a good Halloween. Alright guys, Viking Fun out. This is Viking Fun back for another video. Today is the last spooky story by somebody I know, and he's been in a bunch of videos. And only the people who watch those videos or know him will know that answer. So yeah. I know I definitely haven't been posting a lot of videos this month in September. I've definitely have been slacking. I'm gonna try my best to redeem myself for November and December. Yeah, plus I still have like 2 more KD flavors I have to deal with, but those will be done in another time. Time to get into the story. I moved to beautiful BC, Canada, and we had bought our first property. I was working at a sawmill on the night shift. Our property was 40 kilometers out of town, and I was on my way home after work. It was the middle of winter, and the drive was slow. I was super tired and I was driving extra careful as I was driving my buddy's truck, bringing sheets of plywood and 2x6, let me know in the comments what that means, out for the skirting of our new trailer. I was enjoying the drive as I was on a gravel back road and at peace. With the drive compared to the traffic I had to drive through in the city, this road is so nice that there was not a soul around, so I thought I was tired and driving slowly. I really had to pee and was distracted by this, so I stopped at the side of the road to pee behind a truck. I thought how cool this is. It is midnight, pitch black out, and I am using the taillights to see what I am doing. I lit a smoke and started to relieve my discomfort in the glow of the taillights on the side of the road. I am standing there with my man bits hanging out peeing, and I had a feeling I was being watched. Over to see a guy dressed in flannel jeans and looked like an old-timer. I am kind of weirded out, as what I was doing was not something you really walk up a guy doing and stand there and watch. I look this guy in the face and ask if there is something I could help him with. The man stands there and does not move or say a thing. I put my man bits away and ask him again. This time, I am mad that a guy stood there, stared at me while I was peeing. I asked again what his problem is and if there is something I could do to help. We are in the middle of nowhere after all. For all I know, this guy was broken down and walked up to me to ask for help. This guy stares. I look at him and being a jerk, I asked him what his problem was and I flicked my smoke at him. The half smoke, still burning, flies at this fellow, goes right through him and lands on the ground. Freaked out, and remembering all the other things I have experienced, I apologized for my disrespect, turned around, got in the truck, and drove away. I was distressed and went to my buddy's cabin near our home. He was long sleeping, I guess, as we were working different shifts. I wrote him a note of my experience. The next morning, he wakes up and reads the note. Later in the day, we see each other, and he asks me to tell him what happened. He laughs at me, and we chat a bit. He tells my boss and a few other of our friends this story. A few years later, I was at my wedding giving a speech, and of course, my buddy asked me to tell the story publicly. Well, I wish I was a bit more ready for that story time, because it became a thing, and I was now the guy who saw a ghost. Well, that is it. Well, that is it for my spookiness. Alright, that was actually an interesting story. It took definitely quite a few attempts. I read it over a couple times, but I kept messing a couple words up, so took me quite a few attempts. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and I know I should have done more stories this month and more videos. I'll make sure to make up for it in November. I might try and do a couple stories from Reddit, and maybe see if anybody else I know has any stories worth putting on YouTube. Who knows? Hope you guys enjoy. Have a good Halloween. Viking Fun out.